So the visual person is always very neat and tidy and looks great because the picture that they're presenting is a beautiful picture. And their house looks great, but don't look in the closets. So when you're communicating when you're sitting in meditation, you may get a picture. You may get this piece, oh, this goes with this. And then you see it come together. When we're doing, did I talk about the other gift? I was talking about the intuition first. And I was going to say that there are people who dress sort of sharp, you know. They'll wear khakis, they'll wear practical clothes. And there are people who are impatient, as I said, with details. They sometimes, when they're a little out of balance, have to have the last word because they know. And they're great inspirers and leaders because they want to move forward easily. And they will, as I said, talk things through in their mind for solutions. They love to do crossword puzzles. They are very sensitive in their hearing. They tend to be people who are direct and forceful. So we have that ability. When we're tuning into that, it is tuning into that thought or that word or that sentence that will, what is that solution that I'm looking for? Da 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 da. Oh, okay. Then there's the inner knowing, the cognition, understanding. They know everything. And they know that they know sometimes. And they know what's best for you sometimes when they're a little bit out of balance. And that inner knowing is the part of them that helps them to see your potential and help you. So they're great executives, guiding and directing people in management. But that inner knowing just comes to them. And it will come to them through one of the other three gifts, whatever their second gift is. So just knowing and ending up in the right place at the right time. I had an experience when I lived in Albuquerque in the 90s. I had a friend coming to see me from San Antonio, Texas. And I thought I had time before she was supposed to be in town to do an errand downtown. So I got in the car and I did a little this and then I did a little that and then I picked up a newspaper and then I arrived at my destination. And I'm getting out of my car and I see some woman, silly woman, it's angle parking. She's parked the wrong angle. I'm looking at this woman and it's my friend from San Antonio getting out of her car at the exact same time, at the exact same place I was at. How did that happen? That's that, both of us working with our inner knowing, working with that invisible force, working with that power that's behind us. And that's how we end up at the right place at the right time for anything that we want to do in life, when we're relaxed and going with the flow and listening to the nudges. And that's your prophetic part that gets you to the nudges. And prophetics love to party. They like to sleep in and they stay up late at night. They do their greatest works when everybody else is asleep. So just some of the balanced and out of balance aspects, you might identify a little bit with some of those and get sort of an idea of what works best for you. Because when you understand your way of communicating, and then you recognize that other people don't communicate the same way as you, it can relieve a lot of stress. For instance, I'm the feeling type of person, or the clairsentient, the empath. And details are our favorite thing, and working with our hands, and picking up what everybody else is feeling. And not, if we don't realize it, we become basket cases of that emotional upheaval. And learning to release all the emotions that we pick up is important. But we can just sense what someone needs us to hear, or we can sense when we haven't explained things quite correctly, or like if a feeling type person is talking to an intuitive type person, the intuitive type person is probably getting overwhelmed with details on those directions. And you feel them shut off. It's like, enough. So understanding each other, understanding if you're giving directions to a visual person, you want to make sure you tell them about big landmarks. They don't see little signs. They see big landmarks. And the feeling type of person needs the details of the turns and the rights and the lefts and everything. The intuitive will just go find it. I mean, the prophetic will. I have, back in the days when I used to tour, I would be late in going into a city for a radio station that I needed to end up at, and I would just sort of have to ask my inner guidance, ask my prophetic part, which way do I turn, which way do I turn, which way do I turn, and I'd end up in the right place at the right time. And the practicing of identifying these different ways that we receive that invisible energy, to be discerning of it, gives us that confidence of moving with making our decisions from our heart, from our inner guidance. Our intellect is usually pushing. It's an intense energy. It's more of a gotta, can't, maybe. But when it's the spirit nudging you, it's a little nudge, it's a little gift, it's a little push. And the way that we block our communication is to think that we have to figure it out. You know, Adam and Eve were doing fine until they ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And the knowledge is the intellect, that's a parable. The knowledge is the intellect solving things, wanting to know things. And they had, when they got guilty, this will give you a good picture when you start figuring something out. When they felt embarrassed by their beauty, they used fig leaves. So when you're figuring things out, you've just eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and right and wrong, and good and bad, and did you ever you had a hunch, you had a good idea, and then all these thoughts started coming. It should be this way, no, I can't do that. And then you're stuck in the figuring out. So a solution, a very simple solution, is to take 6 deep breaths in a minute's time. God, in the beginning was the Word. God created man, and He breathed life into man. Breath, the breath of life, is God coming into us. And one of those studies in mystical traditions, mystical studies, is about the earth and our relationship with the earth. And you realize that we could not exist here if the photosynthesis cells were not created to take the carbon dioxide, which was covering the earth in the beginning, and turn it into oxygen. And so trees and plants are our friend to take what is our waste of carbon dioxide and give us back oxygen. We're connected to the earth, we're connected by each other. You know, in this room, we've each breathed in different cells from each other by exhaling and inhaling our carbon dioxide and our oxygen. So we are one. And we communicate, we're one through the frequencies that are in the room that we don't even know about. We're one through the molecules of oxygen and CO2. We're one through our connection with God. And breathing deeply brings in inspiration, releases the calming hormones of the parasympathetic nervous system, and plug you back into the heart, as opposed to the running amygdala, the fear center, the anger center, the emotional center of the body, the lizard brain. So let's just try that. Sit your feet on the floor if you like, and just breathe in. One, inhale deeply, hold it, and exhale deeply. And you can exhale out your mouth, just feel it go freely. Do that at least 6 times, slowly and gently, becoming aware of your inner world. And while you're in that relaxed state, ask your own inner guidance, whatever you call that, to give you some instances so that you identify clearly with how they've spoken with you. Was it like a picture? Was it the words? Was it a feeling? Was it a knowing? Was it all of the above? And that message is always from our inner wisdom, our inner experience, our higher self. And as you come back into the room, the reason I thought this was an important message is because we're in a time of things appearing in total chaos around us. And I listened to several of my talks that I gave in the past few years. And one in 2007, I held up a book about the president at that time, saying, oh, we're in crisis and this is horrible, and look, we've survived. So I just wanted to pass on that we have our own answers in each moment for whatever is coming our way and for whatever is a part of going on and experiencing. And so going within, whenever I become aware that I have stepped out of my heart center, out of my love of other people, out of my love of myself, out of my trust that everything's going to be okay, just stepping back, becoming aware, reframing that, asking for answers within, and then stepping forward to release whatever it was and retrain yourself to go to that voice within and trust that voice within and trust, because God, I have picked up a few of your Science of Mind magazines, and there's always the ad that, I don't have the direct quote, but that joy is the clear indication that God is present. And if we're not joyful, we may have unplugged. So let's all plug back in. So you are the answer, and you are the light. And be more love and light. Thank you.